You know when you write a speech, and at the time you think that it's appropriate, and then you read it back and you think, oh my God. So I apologise, right? And I'm mic'd up, so it's there forever. You've got this forever. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
For those that don't know me, my name is Ben, and I've been given the honour of being Jack's best man.
10 minutes early.
I would like to start by saying how beautiful Natalie and her bridesmaid look. Nat, looking at you today, it's clear to see when Jack met you, he went straight home and broke up with his girlfriend. Just to manage your expectations, that's the level we're at. I'm worried about this one. I would also like to apologise to the singer. It was all we could afford after Jack had spent the rest of the wedding budget on drugs and strippers in Marbella. Well, that was less, isn't it? I think we've gone below now. Sorry, I did say don't mention that. When Jack asked me to be his best man, I was instantly taken aback. It was the easiest yes to a question I'd ever answered, but it was unexpected. As you all know, we are such a close friendship group. He could have asked any of us, and we all would have jumped at the offer. It got me thinking about how we measure friendship. Jack and I have only been friends for about 6 years. We had known about each other and we knew each other beforehand, but it was a golf trip to Canberra Sands where we really spent an amount of time together. It was clear from day one of that trip that we were going to be lifelong friends. To answer my question on how we measure friendship, in the last 6 years with Jack, I have laughed more than I can remember at any other time in my life. That to me is a great friendship. Although sometimes at completely inappropriate times. We both once played centre midfield together, hungover for a local Biggin Hill Sunday team. We lost 7-1 and laughed at each other for the whole game. We were never ever asked to play ever again. I would also say the fact that I'm missing Millwall Wembley tomorrow suggests how much Jack means to me. When I talk about Jack, I actually mean John. Jack's real name is John Peter James McErlain.
Yes.
Now this was news to me too, until the day before we flew to Marbella, when Jack thought it was best to tell me, after stressing, organising 13 lads to leave the country, checking them in online, that the name we'd been calling him for years was actually a lie. His name is John. So after an expensive name change on the flight, we added to a long line of existing nicknames. Macca, Super Mac, Jacques, his slightly French middle-class alter ego, and now Marbella John. In fact, to the people that attended his first stag do, he's still simply known as Jandy. But that isn't a story for today. As well as his name, there are some other things you should know about Jack. Number one, he has the softest lips in the world. I won't tell you how I know this, but I invite you all throughout the rest of the day to put it to the test and come and give him a kiss. Number two, he can't wee in public. or in fact in front of anyone. He'll queue for a cubicle even if all the urinals are empty and it urinals? Urinal. What's that word? Urinals. Let's move on. Number 3. Jack, without question, is the clumsiest man I've ever met in my life. You will notice he dropped his hymn sheet today in the church. This is how clumsy this man is. One question that sticks in my mind, although a painful one, is funny too. We were playing in a golf society somewhere in Essex, and I'd been drawn in a group with Jack, which means any decent golf was straight out the window, as we would have just laughed at each other all the way through anyway. We got to the 7th tee, and Jack hit possibly the best drive of the day, straight down the middle, just off the back of the green. As we walked towards the ball, he was already in his head counting the points he would have got for his inevitable birdie. But this is Jack. As he lined up to putt and started his stroke, he duffed the shot and moved the ball all of 10 centimetres. In complete anger, he swung his putter, tripped over his own feet, and fell face first into the putting green. After the rest of the group recovered from painful belly laughter, we actually realised he twisted his knee. We felt bad for 10 seconds and then returned to complete belly laughter. As Jack has already mentioned, he was in a dark place when he met Natalie, and as a group we were worried about him. But Natalie was exactly what he needed. The night they met was labelled Super Saturday. It was Olympic year 2012 in London, and we were in a pub in Hayes watching our Olympians win gold. We only went for 40 seconds. You got 40 seconds. We only went for a couple of beers, but as mine and Jack's friendship escalated, so did our decisions. This obviously meant we were out. That was the night he met Nats. Who would have thought that a drunken night in Bridge Bar would actually turn out to be one of the best life decisions we've ever made? From meeting Natalie, the change in Jack was obvious. It was so nice to see him generally happy and in love. So sorry for what's coming. Jack once told me a story about Natalie from their early dating days. He also told me never, ever repeat this story. And I never have. Until now. I have in brackets put Nats, I'm sorry in advance for this as well. And 7 dots after it.
You want to give the present back?
Yeah, I do. Jack and Natalie. Jack and Natalie had been on a date and were on their way back to Natalie's house in Dulwich. They had got on a bus as they had a few drinks and didn't want to drive. As the bus took its route through Peckham, more and more hooded teenagers got on the bus.
Lovely.
Yeah, you can imagine. As a smell surrounded the inside of the bus, it seemed that one of the local hoodies had set off what they thought was a stink bomb. Jack and Natalie looked at each other disgusted and appalled by the smell, but were thankful they only had 2 stops left. When they got home, Nats turned to Jack and said, "You know that smell on the bus?" It was me. I do that sometimes to watch people's reactions. I strangely think that was the moment that Jack knew she was a kid. From what I understand, for the first couple of months of their early dating period, Natalie knew me only as the one that drinks a lot and gambles. This was then confirmed to her on one of mine and Jack's lunch meetings. This particular occasion was during the Cheltenham Festival last year.
Oh dear.
You're in this, yeah, you should up there. We decided to meet for lunch and watch a couple of the races over a few social beers. That was the plan, but as normal with Jack and I, things escalate quickly. 2 beers became 3, which became 4. We were still out, so we went for dinner also. In fact, Roger met us and decided to take us to dinner. So you also take some blame for this. After realising that it was time to go home, we made our way back to Cannon Street to get our trains home. Jack boarded his train, took his seat. Needing some fresh air, he asked the 2 gentlemen sitting opposite, "Chaps, do you mind if I open the window?" "Of course, not a problem," was the reply. Jack got up and he was struggling. He was pulling, he was pushing, and getting more and more irate that he couldn't get the fresh air that he required. When a voice from behind him said, "Excuse me, mate, there's not a window there." Jack was trying to open a window that wasn't there. He sat back down, contemplating the life decisions that were made that day, and then obviously fell asleep, passing straight through the agreed station where Natalie was waiting to pick him up. Sadly, this is not an isolated incident and does happen most times that we go out. So Natalie, I am really sorry for this. I'd like to finish by saying to Jack, "Jack, thank you so much for choosing me as your best man. I've loved every second of the journey that we've shared, from the moment you asked me to do the job up until this point right now. It is an experience that I will treasure forever, and I'm sure that I speak for everyone here when I say I wish you both a lifetime of happiness, love and laughter." So, what's we got? How many more seconds? If I could get you all to be upstanding, please, and raise a glass to the new Mr. and Mrs. Marbella John.